Hey, what's up? My name is Leif, and today I'm going to be taking you through a full day of eating for vegan fat loss. I have 4 main goals for my nutrition today. 1, get under 2,000 calories. 2, hit 180 grams of plant protein. 3, get lots of food volume so I don't feel hungry. And 4, use minimal protein powder. Protein powder is healthy, but I want to keep this full day of eating as whole food as possible. At the end, I'll do a full nutrition breakdown. So let's get started. Hey, what's up? Good morning. So the first thing that I love doing when I'm in a fat loss phase is actually working out. So there's really no fat loss benefit when it comes to fasted workouts, but I just love getting up and getting it done first thing in the morning. And I feel like my energy levels are the highest in the morning. So I sometimes use pre-workout if I feel like I'm just lagging a little bit in the morning. But today I didn't because I got a full night of sleep. And generally, if you're getting enough sleep, then that really helps you when you're going through a fat loss period because you have much higher energy levels. So one other thing I like to mention is it's really not necessary to take a BCAA supplement before you are training, even if you're doing that in a fasted state. And the reason that doesn't really matter is because your body is really intelligent and you can consume protein within a few hours after a workout. And it's really not going to break down your muscles in any way training in a fasted state, even if you are going through a fat loss phase. So I'm not using a BCAA workout. You can if you want to, but generally it's not necessary. So I'm going to be training legs today, and then I'll show you the first meal of the day. Let's get to it. All right, so just got back from the gym and showered, and I usually have oatmeal whenever I'm bulking or shredding. Basically have oatmeal every single day. Absolutely love it, but I sweated a lot at the gym and I'm just feeling like having something that's a little more salty and savory. So we're gonna be making some tofu scramble. So generally what I like to do with my fat loss nutrition is push my first meal of the day till later in the day, and that just helps me to kind of pack all my calories towards the evening when I tend to get more hungry. So it's kind of an intermittent fasting diet approach, but to be clear, intermittent fasting does not accelerate fat loss. I am strictly doing that to improve my compliance to my nutrition plan, not to get any kind of fat loss benefit. So let's jump in and make some tofu scramble. So the recipe for the tofu scramble is super simple. You're just gonna take 1 red bell pepper, dice that up, half an onion, dice that up as well, and then you're gonna chop up 250 grams of broccoli florets. Once you have the veggies ready to go, you're gonna saute the onions and red bell pepper together, and then you're gonna add 2 blocks of tofu and mash that up. You can use a cooking utensil to mash it up, but honestly, just kind of mashing it with your hands is easiest. After you've mashed up the tofu, go ahead and add some sea salt, some black pepper, garlic powder, and turmeric. Go ahead, stir that up, and then we're gonna add the rest of the spices, chili powder, ground cumin, and some nutritional yeast. Stir that up, let it cook for a minute or so, and then add your broccoli florets and cover the pan and let that cook for another 5 or so minutes until the broccoli is fork tender. All right, so along with my tofu scramble, I'm gonna make a strawberry coconut protein shake. So the base is gonna be water because I'm focusing on a fat loss plan, so I don't wanna be adding calories there. But we have some True Nutrition toasted coconut protein powder, and this is going to just add some extra protein as some recovery to the workout that I did. I've also got flaxseed, so we got some omega-3s that we're gonna be adding with the flaxseed, and I also have some fresh strawberries that I'll be dicing up and adding. So that's it, this is breakfast. We're gonna run through a whole nutrition breakdown at the end of the video, but this meal is coming in at about 700 calories and 70 grams of plant protein. So I did want to make a comment about broccoli. Broccoli is really kind of my go-to fat loss vegetable. and it's just a really great food to add lots of volume and nutrition to your meals. And generally speaking, the more veggies that you can put into your fat loss meals, the easier it's going to be to actually stick with your plan, because you're going to have lots of food, lots of volume, and that's going to help you to feel full throughout the day. I did want to make one other comment about some supplements that I'm going to be taking. These are the 2 supplements that I will be taking today. We've got some vegan omega-3s. It's really helpful to have preformed EPA and DHA in your diet. Those are 2 of the omega-3 fatty acids, and that's how you can do it with a simple algae oil supplement. And then I also have a men's multivitamin. So this is just kind of helps to fill any nutrition gaps that you have within the day. I get as much nutrition as I possibly can from whole foods, but when you're focusing on a fat loss program, it can be a little challenging with less calories to actually hit all of your nutrition considerations and targets. So throwing in a multivitamin can be helpful. So I'm gonna eat my breakfast, jump into some work, and I'll see you at lunch. All right, so for lunch, we've got one of my go-to fat loss meals. We're gonna have some edamame and mung bean pasta with a salad. So this is super quick and easy to make. It's also packed with plant protein. The protein content on this is pretty crazy, so we'll get into the nutrition facts in just a bit. But let's get started. We've got the water boiling right here. So that's basically it in terms of like cooking prep, and the other stuff that we're going to prepare is the salad. So I'm going to go ahead and start chopping that stuff up, throw the pasta in, and it'll basically be done. So let's do it. So this is what the edamame pasta looks like. It is 53% protein in terms of calories, and it also cooks extremely quickly. It just takes 5 to 7 minutes. So our water is boiling. I'm gonna portion out my serving size, which is gonna be 140 grams of edamame pasta dry. So like I said, this recipe is super simple. We're just gonna add our pasta to the boiling water, let that cook for 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're also going to shred up the cabbage and put that over our salad. All right, so the pasta is all done, and I'm just in the process of making the salad right now. I'm going to be adding this sauerkraut. This is my personal favorite sauerkraut. I love adding sauerkraut to meals because it adds tons of beneficial probiotics. So I'm gonna add 2 servings of this sauerkraut. I'm gonna be sprinkling some hemp seed over my salad, and hemp is just a really great source of omega-3s. It's also packed with protein. So our dressing that we're gonna be using is this Bragg's oil-free vinaigrette. It has 15 calories for 2 tablespoons, which is a full serving. And because it doesn't have oil, it's not loaded with calories like most dressings are. All right, so the last step is we're going to add the pasta sauce to the pasta. Now I was going to go ahead and use salsa on the pasta, which I normally do when I'm focusing on fat loss, because I thought that you saved a bunch of calories. And it turns out, I was going to use a half cup of this, and it turns out a half cup of this only saves you 10 calories. So I prefer the taste of just having pasta sauce. This is perfectly fine, but the pasta sauce is a little bit better in my opinion. So we're actually gonna just take the extra 10 calories, add that to our nutrition plan, and use the pasta sauce. So this meal is packed with nutrition, plus it literally takes less than 10 minutes to make. So if you're struggling to find enough time in your day to prep healthy, delicious meals that also help you to accomplish your fitness goals, this is a great go-to meal. Another interesting thing to note is that this protein pasta contains all of your iron needs for the day. And as I mentioned for breakfast, volume is a really important consideration to have in mind when you are building your fat loss plans. So this whole meal actually weighs 1.5 pounds. It weighs a little bit over 1.5 pounds, or about 0.8 kilograms. That's a lot of food for few calories, and you also get lots of protein and lots of nutrition from that. So that's the way that you should be thinking about structuring your meals. So I just did a few hours of work and now I'm getting out for an afternoon walk. So in my opinion, getting out and just staying active through walking is one of the best ways that you can get extra activity to burn body fat. So I think setting a step goal, whether that's 5,000, 7,000, or 10,000 steps per day, is a really great way to lose body fat. You really don't need to be doing cardio. I very rarely do cardio when it comes to fat loss, and I just find walking to be a much easier, low impact form of getting some activity in. So generally I aim for about 10,000 steps per day. That's about 5 miles, and that's a really good distance to be going for your walks over the entire span of a day. I also like walking shirtless during the warmer months to get some natural vitamin D and get a little bit of color. All right, so we got our steps in, we got some sun, we got some other work done, and now it is time for dinner. I'm super hungry and ready to have this delicious meal. So on the menu, we have TVP burgers. These are super delicious, really nutritious, and also very simple to make. Let's dive in. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is make our TVP burger mixture. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein, and it's a super great source of protein that we're gonna be adding into this meal. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add oats and TVP chunks to a bowl. And on top of that, we're going to add oregano, basil, parsley flakes, onion, garlic, and mustard powder. Then we're gonna mix that up and start adding a little water at a time until we get a consistency where everything really sticks together and isn't runny. We're gonna be making 8 burgers, so that's gonna be about 1.5 cups of water or 360 milliliters. Once you've mixed it up and reached the right consistency, add ketchup and soy sauce to the mixture and let that rest for about 5 minutes so the TVP can soak up all of the flavors. Then we're gonna mix in 2 tablespoons of creamy peanut butter, but you can use whatever nut or seed butter you prefer. If you wanna use a lower calorie option, you can use powdered peanut butter instead of the peanut butter, and that has a lot less fat. Lastly, we're gonna add whole wheat pastry flour and nutritional yeast and mix that in thoroughly. All right, so we have a perfect TVP mixture. This is a great consistency, and it's really easy to just form these into patties. So that's gonna be the next step. This is gonna make 8 patties, so I'm gonna evenly divide it into 8 and make those into patties. So the entire mixture weighs 840 grams, so we're going to divide that into 105 gram patties. So the easiest way to weigh out the patties from this point is to zero out the scale. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then take 105 grams out each time. So we got our 8 patties. They look absolutely delicious, and we're going to go ahead and put those in the air fryer. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can cook these. You can cook them on a pan, but generally that might require a little bit of oil to make sure that they don't stick or kind of get burned. And that's definitely not something that I want to be adding to my fat loss meal plan. So we're going to put these in the air fryer at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 175 Celsius. And we're going to put it in for 10 minutes and then check in on them. All right, so that was 10 minutes in the air fryer and they look absolutely perfect. So they are done, ready to go, and it's time to build our burgers. So our burgers are gonna be super simple. We have these sandwich thins, which are really delicious. We're gonna put the burgers on those, and then we're gonna add some mustard. We also have some pickles and spinach. So keeping it really basic, and let's get to it. As you can probably tell, I really love mustard. It's a great condiment to be using for fat loss because it's relatively low in calories. And pickles are also a fantastic fat loss food because they are very low in calories, but in my opinion, packed with taste. We're going to set our yummy looking burgers off to the side and add the fruit for this meal. We're going to be using watermelon. It's one of my favorite fruits to have, especially in the summer, and it's also really low in calories, so it's a good fruit to have. It's really filling. All right, so that is dinner. This comes in at 655 calories and 44 grams of protein. So TVP is a great food to add to a fat loss plan because it's super high in protein, relatively low in calories, and it's really versatile, so you can throw it in a bunch of different dishes. So that's it for a full day of eating. Now let's break down the nutrition. All right, so here's a breakdown of all of the ingredients that we added for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can see here that we clocked in at 1,998 calories, so just under our 2,000 calorie target. And we also hit 180 grams of plant protein, which was our target. So today I hit all of my required nutrition targets. Here we have the vitamins and we also have the minerals listed here. You can see I got all of my omega-3 for the day. So actually most of the omega-3 that I consumed was from the ground flaxseed, but I also had hemp seeds and the omega-3 supplement, which contributed as well. Not surprisingly, most of the vitamin B12 that I consumed came from the multivitamin supplement, but we also had nutritional yeast in the Tofu Scramble, so that contributed a lot as well. In fact, I didn't even need to take the supplement to get my B12 because of the nutritional yeast. Leucine is arguably the most important amino acid for maintaining lean muscle mass when you are focusing on fat loss, and actually most of the leucine that I consumed today came from the TVP. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. You don't need to be supplementing necessarily to get lots of leucine and these other essential amino acids. Speaking of TVP and soy products in general, I got tons of iron today because I consumed the Edamame Pasta. I also had Tofu Scramble and the TVP burgers. Soy products are super healthy, they're packed with protein, and they're also packed with micronutrients like calcium, manganese, copper, selenium, vitamin A, phosphorus, and iron. So overall, we had a great nutrition profile for the day and I hit my 4 main goals. So I was under 2,000 calories, I hit 180 grams of plant protein, I got lots of food volume in so I didn't feel hungry throughout the day, and I also used minimal protein powder. Alright, so that's going to be a wrap for this video. If you want to download the ultimate plant-based nutrition guide for sustainable vegan weight loss, click the link in the description. It's totally free and I wrote it to help you accomplish your vegan weight loss, or more specifically, fat loss goals. In this guide, you'll learn the truth about vegan weight loss, how to rapidly burn stubborn body fat, what to eat and when to eat to guarantee results, how to build a vegan fat loss meal plan, and much more. Alright, so that's going to be a wrap for this video. If you want more nutrition content like this, be sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.